Someone asked me to make a video about the Ubermensch, and the first thing to say is that the Ubermensch was the idea of the Ubermensch was created by Nietzsche. So he came up with this idea that there is this creature that is above human. And so the thing is that there is the ape, the chimpanzee, and then there's the human, and there's something after that that is beyond human, that's just as much as that. The difference between the human and the chimpanzee is just as great. And that's one of the things, is that he says that man is a rope between the ape and the Ubermensch, and that's what connects them, is man. And so the thing is that what Nietzsche had in mind for the Ubermensch was something that would be creative, something that would bring meaning to the earth after Christianity had faltered and gone away. So the thing is that one of the things he did was like the Renaissance. So one of the things is that he compared the Ubermensch to Michelangelo, who painted the Sixtine Chapel, and who also carved the statue of the David. Now, the thing about Ubermensch is that many people see the Ubermensch as someone who is twice as smart as they are, or just as smart as they are. But the thing is, like, for example, the people that made South Park think that the Ubermensch is Jeff Bezos. Some people think that Nietzsche was an Ubermensch, but as it turns out that he only had an IQ of 145. So the thing is that there's this person called Lib Thimes that created human chemistry, but the thing is that he said that Richard Friedman was 185, but the thing is that in actuality Richard Friedman is 139, and so that would make him 147. And so the thing is that around that range you get people that are halfway between human and Ubermensch that are into this kind of thing. So they make their own IQ lists and stuff like that, but they aren't really accurate, because I don't know, it's like I thought that Lib Thimes was like very, very high up at one point, but it turns out he's only like twice as smart as I am. And the thing is that what I have found out is that IQ is not quantized. It goes by deviations. So the thing is that we can't really tell what IQ measures. What does it mean to have an IQ of 100? What does it mean to have an IQ of 180? What does it mean to have an IQ of 75? What does that mean? Those numbers are meaningless. So the thing is that I had to figure out, how do you quantize IQ so that the numbers actually mean something, so that they're actually units of measurement that can be compared to each other in quantities rather than deviations or ratios. So the thing is that I discovered that digit span is a good measurement of that. So an IQ of 100 starts out at a digit span of 7, and then every 5 IQ points you get a digit span of increase by 1. So 105 is 8, 1010 is 9, 115 is 10, a digit span of 10, and that goes all the way up to 200. And so 200 is a digit span of 209. But then that's how many numbers you can hold in your head, or how many symbols you can hold in your head. And so the thing is that but what does that mean? If I can hold 29 numbers in my head, what does that mean? Well, because that is linear, we have to square it. So 29 squared is 741. But what does that number mean? Well, take for example the IQ of 100, and you have 7 numbers. That means you can do a mental arithmetic of 7 times 7. So you can do numbers that are just as much as, so 7 squared is 49, and that gives you a good estimate of the mental arithmetic you can do in your head. And so the thing is that we are spatial creatures, so when you square that number, it's like the number of things that are going on inside your working memory. So the thing is that working memory in chimpanzees is very, very high. They can hold several numbers in their head, and they can memorize it in less than a quarter of a second. So they can memorize 10 numbers in a quarter of a second, their positions and all that. So the thing is but why is a human different from a chimpanzee? A human can't memorize as fast as a chimpanzee, so what makes them different? What makes them different is that you're taking some rules. So humans are able to come up with rules, abstractions that mean something when you determine that they cause something else. So like in a computer program, the rule is that when you see this number, do something with that number according to the rule set. And so the thing is that when I thought about how do you quantize IQ in regards to an Ubermensch, some people think that Thanos is an example of an Ubermensch. But the thing is that some people think that certain things about people that don't really match up, because like the thing is like if Nietzsche thought the Ubermensch was like Michelangelo, who painted the Sistine Chapel and who also carved the Statue of David, and that the Ubermensch would create something in place of Christianity, something that's so fantastic that it would go beyond anything that we could imagine that was spectacular and all that, then the Ubermensch would have to have a super high intelligence. He couldn't just be like an alpha male or like a caveman with big muscles and like a Chad and all that stuff. He would have to be creative, and so in order to be creative, he couldn't. It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He is the Terminator, and he can beat up anyone he wants to. He is like a Spartan, but a Spartan is not an Ubermensch. That's just a warrior. So the Ubermensch is creative, and they create things that are so spectacular that we marvel at them and say, "Oh, that's superhuman. That's beyond human. That's the gods. That's only the gods could do that." And so that's why we have this name Ubermensch. And so when I quantized the limits of what the Ubermensch could do, the average IQ of the human is 100. The average IQ of the chimpanzee is 20, and the Ubermensch IQ is 180. And so the thing is that gives, and so when you quantize those numbers into actual things that can show you what the Ubermensch can create, that gives you a list of things a list of numbers, a list of rules that the Ubermensch can calculate in their head in order to do that, in order to create spectacular things. And so the Ubermensch can calculate around 625 rule sets at the same time. And the average person can calculate 49 rules at the same time. And the chimpanzee can calculate about 2 rules at the same time. So you tell the chimpanzee, this is the rule, follow the rule, and you get these results. And it doesn't learn that well. So it's like how do I get this to do this? And it's like it's like cracking the nut with the rock. So it cracks the nut with the rock, and it figures out, oh, I can get nuts by cracking them with rocks. I can get termites by using a bamboo stick to get the termites. But a human is a little bit smarter than that. They can calculate about 49 rules at the same time. And so when they calculate these rules, they're doing it subconsciously. So all these rules are happening within their brain, but it's happening subconsciously. So they're thinking about all these things at the same time. And so the Ubermensch can do 625 rules subconsciously at the same time. So if you have for example a chessboard. Now what happens is that a chess expert, what that chess expert does is they memorize every game they have ever played in their entire life. And because they have memorized every chess position in their entire life, the only time they get stumped is when they come up with something they've never seen before. And that's why the computer was able to beat Garry Kasparov at chess, because it pushed him into a position he's never seen before, and he couldn't figure out which rules to use. And so the thing is that Garry Kasparov, he had a super memorizing ability. He did not have the ability to calculate rules on the fly. So the thing is, that's why he lost, because he could not see that these rules would lead to this outcome. But the Ubermensch is different, because the Ubermensch can calculate all these rules in real time in the subconscious. And so the thing is that the Ubermensch is not going to seek out pleasurable things. He's not going to seek out worldly things that people get like he's not going to get drunk. He's not going to say, oh, I want cars, I want money, I want this, I want that. It's stuff that normal people want because they want to pleasure themselves or whatever. He's going to say, I want to create something spectacular, and that spectacular thing is going to benefit all of humanity, because that's the only purpose I have in life. Because, like, why waste your time getting drunk if you can paint the Mona Lisa? And so that's my opinion of what the Ubermensch would do with his intelligence and creativity, is that he would create something fantastic, he would share it with the world, and then the world would become inspired, and then once the world becomes inspired, the world becomes what the Ubermensch wants it to become. So the only reason a person gets drunk is because they have no purpose. People want money, they want cars, but that's all empty. They want things that can help them things, but the thing is, like, why do we exist in the first place? What are we supposed to do? If Christianity is not going to give us meaning anymore, according to Nietzsche, what is it that we want to do that's going to replace that? And the thing is that you have to paint paintings, you have to carve statues, you have to make virtual reality worlds where there's all these beautiful things in it. And that's what the Ubermensch will do, given that he can calculate so many rules at the same time. and how to put things together and be creative in such a passion as that.